You ready? Okay, so we're here today again.
We're here again.
Well, we're not here today again. We're here again today.
We are here again today.
Q&A with Kev and Jay.
Q&A with Kev and Jay.
On a
I like to
Tuesday.
repeat.
On a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday.
A couple of days before Thanksgiving.
We are here before Thanksgiving.
Jay, there's a lot of stuff going on, man. Like
Too much.
Well, I don't know if it's too much or it's too much of one thing or too much of another thing.
Yeah.
So because there is so much going on,
Right.
and you and I haven't seen each other in a week, I'm gonna actually start this off with a trivia.
Okay.
Okay. So
God,
I'm
you're going to put
challenging
me
you.
on the spot.
I gotta put you on the spot. I'm coming.
We have not even prepared for this.
All right.
Okay, go on. I'm ready.
I'm gonna give you some lyrics to a song, and I'm going to see how close you can get
Okay.
to what this song is.
Okay. Well,
or you can tell me who.
Already I don't know it, but go on.
Okay, it says, walking down the street, smoggy-eyed, looking at the sky, starry-eyed, searching for a place, weary-eyed, crying in the night, teary-eyed. Don't you know that it's true, that for me and for you, the world is a...
Tough place to live.
It's a song, so those lyrics wouldn't go well.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll skip
I'm
that
not
part.
good
I'm
at
gonna go- I'm
music.
gonna give you one more chance, right?
Yeah. Please.
Wonder when I'll find paradise, somewhere there's a home, sweet and nice. Wonder if I'll find happiness, never give it up, now I guess.
Okay. You've humiliated me.
The world is a ghetto.
The world is a ghetto.
Right. So who sung that song?
I know that.
Back in
Not
the day.
Marvin Gaye.
Close in that
Close
era.
to era.
Yeah. Close in that era.
Sly and the Family Stone.
Very, very close.
Very close.
War.
Yes.
You
So,
did good. See,
I'm okay.
you shot yourself.
I know a few
You shot
things.
yourself. You shot
Thank you.
yourself. The reason I picked that song, basically because
Please
of-
tell me why.
we're nothing is new under the sun. We agree with that.
No, we do.
Well, unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of the same chaos that we've seen historically in this country.
Yes.
Particularly, it's where we live. So we'll stick to things here. In the last week, and probably in the next couple of days, there will be a revelation of another version of our systemic atrocity
Yeah.
when it comes to certain people, and a systemic perk when it comes to other people.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Rittenhouse verdict
Yeah.
and the closing arguments that we're among right now with the Ahmaud Arbery
Yes.
trial. Two things that happened, two incidences that happened about a year apart, not quite a year.
Yeah.
Ahmaud Arbery was in February of 2020.
Right.
The Kyle Rittenhouse thing was towards the end of the year, well, end of the summer.
Right.
2020. I want to say August, maybe.
Something like that.
Where you have 3 older white men on trial for killing a black guy jogging or running in their neighborhood.
Right.
Then you have a 17-year-old who's barely out of high school
Yeah.
that is armed with an AR-15 rifle, crosses state lines, walks into an already hostile environment,
Right.
gets into a sort of confrontation because he has a rifle,
Right.
and ends up killing 2 people and wounding another,
Right.
and just walked away scot-free. To double down on that, you have sitting congressmen offering him a internship.
Right.
You have people donating to his defense fund, and you have a young lady who just did a GoFundMe and presented this guy with a $220,000 check on behalf of getting fired for donating to that same defense fund. Now, you also have a defense attorney asking that the victim in the case in the Ahmaud Arbery trial not be allowed pastors to come in there because of their
Black pastors.
because of their influence
Right.
of being a pastor
Right.
over the last 40, 50 years.
Right.
So, in this conversation, we want to talk about the discrepancies between the two. And my first question to you is,
Yeah.
as a nearly 61-year-old,
Well, not nearly 61, but we'll just say 60.
60-year-old
Yeah. Not quite 61.
Jewish guy from the Maryland DMV area, what do you think? Well, as we see that, we are being approached by the security here at the mall,
Yes.
and some reason they may have an
Want
issue
us
with
filming?
us filming this.
Yep.
Again, I don't know if it has something to do with the subject that we're talking about.
Probably
but
not.
The guy behind the camera, Marco, who's our intern, has already shared with us that he's filmed here in the mall already.
Yes.
So he didn't have any problems that he told us about
Right.
when he filmed in the mall the first time. This is a public place,
It is.
right? So I'm not exactly sure why they're even talking to him and
Right,
not
this
talking
could
to
be-
us. So they chose
This
to talk
could
to
be
this
a
20-year-old
very
guy.
good. This could be a good. This could
This
go
is a good
viral.
segue.
This could be a very
This
good
is a
segue. We're
So
about
we're
to
at
be,
Cross Creek Mall here in Fayetteville. We're sitting in the food court,
and we
public
could,
place.
and maybe we'll be arrested.
Right, and there's no sign on the no sign that says we cannot film, right?
But hopefully they will allow us to continue.
Yeah, because we're not filming against anybody, and so.
We cannot
Because-
film in here.
All right, so we're back after a brief break.
A brief break.
For a reason, though, we were in Cross Creek Mall and we didn't have permission to be in the food court filming, and so we had to leave.
We had to leave.
And the security guard was nice. The manager didn't speak to us, but the security guard was nice.
The handcuffs.
However-
still, I got the. That's bothering me a little
Only
bit.
Jay was in handcuffs. Now I'm
Yeah.
just joking. We're joking.
Yeah.
But we came across the street and we were fortunate enough to come across a new business that had been open
Yeah.
now for about 7 months.
Yeah.
And it's called Kava here,
Kava.
right outside of the mall, Scarborough Road. So
Cross Creek.
we're thanking Nikki, the manager here, for allowing us to use her
Yes,
space.
she has been fantastic. Very,
Right.
very hospitable. I mean,
Right.
sort of a last-minute opportunity for us to have a little conversation
Right,
over
so,
here.
so just to recap, Jay
Yeah.
came very close to getting my trivia question right. He guessed Sly and the Family Stone, and
But it was war.
the answer was war. So
War.
it's good. And the song was "The World Is a Ghetto." The world is a ghetto.
Yeah.
So we started talking about this Ahmaud Arbery Rittenhouse, the difference in the trials, the difference in the defendants, so to speak.
Yep.
So the only thing that really is in common is that the defendants are of the same persuasion.
The defendants are of the same persuasion. Yes,
Right?
that is
Is
correct.
Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I mean, they're white guys. Yeah.
So
just
we
say,
were talking
just say
about,
white guys. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to say white guys.
Yeah.
I was just trying to be
Okay.
complex, like the trials are. The trials are complex. The subject matter of why the trials are going on, everything that's surrounding it. You know, the Rittenhouse thing happened at the Black Lives Matter protest during everything that
Right.
was going on during the summer of 2020 in support of George Floyd and in response to the way that the murder was handled.
Right.
And all those things that came about that, it opened up a lot of people to a lot of systemic things that have been going on in this country
But I
that
have
many
to just,
people want to stop.
And I have to just say, and because it just is so fresh, Rittenhouse is a big supporter of Black Lives Matter. I just think it's important for you to know. He said he is a supporter of BLM on Tucker Carlson.
He also said that he was a medic. So
I'm saying that sort of
he lied on the
tongue-in-cheek.
witness stand
Yeah, yeah.
a few times. Again, as a lifelong black person, it's not really surprising that the trial happened the way that it happened.
And it wasn't somebody. It was and it wasn't. I will say this, and I think we may differ on this. This case, I mean, it's so different from the Arbery case, so we really can't compare them.
Right.
The one thing I found very interesting about this, the more I did hear the testimony, I did think, while I don't agree with someone crossing state lines who's underage, bringing an AR-15 to an event that knowingly was going to could potentially cause problems. I do believe that during the protests, that he did believe his life was being threatened. I do believe that. I do believe that he should not have been there.
What makes you believe that?
Well, I'll share.
I mean, because it's like
So Rosenbaum, who was the first person that he did shoot, came out of a hospital. He has mental health issues, was yelling crazy stuff, threatening stuff, and threatened to get the gun away from Rittenhouse. Didn't have a gun with him. So he was making some threats, and you can check that out. I mean, that is part of the testimony. I was incorrect initially when I said that there was someone else that I believe brought a gun. My point
Say
is,
that part again.
I was incorrect that I believe that someone else had threatened him with a gun that they brought.
So when we talked the other day, I
was incorrect. I was incorrect.
I understand that, but when we talked
Yeah.
initially about this trial,
Yes.
you said that's why you believe that it was self-defense.
Yeah.
And I explained to you that
Yeah.
I never heard that before.
Okay.
So
So I'm going to retract, and I am as someone who is not always willing to say, "Hey, I made a mistake." But I will say that during that time, with the skateboard, being hit by a skateboard, folks threatening to take his gun, I believe he thought his life was in danger. And that's what it takes to be able to use, I believe, force that he ended up using.
why can't? Is it hard for you?
Could he have hit him in the head with a gun?
As an alternative to your
Yeah.
thinking, just a tweak, could it
Yeah.
have been that he walked into a situation to put himself in danger?
I think it's a very difficult situation.
No, it's
he
not.
shouldn't have been there.
It's not difficult.
Here's my. Okay, let me go back for a second. My issue with this case is, number one, he shouldn't have been there, but he was there. He was threatened. I don't like this person at all, but I'm going with the facts, and the facts are he was threatened by multiple people there, and he did what he thought he needed to do to save his own.
You didn't know none of that before the trial.
I didn't know any of that.
You didn't know.
I didn't know any of that.
Again, that's just like when I see.
I didn't know any of that.
When I listen to the trials, this
Yeah.
is the issue that I have.
Yeah.
These are all things that we know after the fact.
That's
in that
absolutely true.
moment.
In the heat of the
that-
moment,
No,
absolutely.
in the time period that it took for him to say, "I'm going to get dressed like this.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to put all this
Have
on.
my mother drive me to.
I'm going to get my gun. I'm going to get my bullets. All this stuff right here,
Yeah.
right? So all that going across state lines. And all
He
this
was
stuff.
looking for trouble.
Again. So the problem with this trial.
Yeah.
My point is this right here.
Yeah.
You threw out the one thing from the very beginning that would have made this criminal.
Yeah.
So you made it difficult after you threw out the gun charge,
Right.
the illegal fact
Right.
that he should not have had a gun.
Yeah.
He's not old enough to even possess that rifle.
Right.
Right? So that's just assumed as I'm a great person, but I just got drunk this day.
Well,
and that's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
I'll let you.
I'm a great person. I went out, I had a drink. It was a drink I'd never had before.
Right.
It got me disoriented. I went out, and 5 minutes later, although I'm contemplating pulling over, when I attempt to do that, I hit somebody and I killed them.
Right.
Right? The judge is not going to look at my past life. He's not going to look at the fact that I can now tell him that I wasn't trying to kill anybody.
Yeah.
I was actually trying to get off the road. So if the judge takes that into consideration, doesn't that protect me from being a murderer?
I hear your argument, and I'm
Is it right?
no,
Simple. It's not right.
no, it's not right.
So
I also think a very important part of this case is how prejudicial the comments from the judge were.
well, he did everything.
He
except
basically
he adopted
he
him.
said, well, he did.
adopted
He
him.
almost
He
adopted
treated him
him
just like it was his
like a
grandson.
child. But I think to actually say before the trial began, they could not be referred to as victims. The three
That's
people,
two
two
things.
people
So
killed.
that's the two things. I wasn't even going to bring that up.
That was one thing.
Right.
Was outrageous.
Right.
And I think that started the issue, in my opinion, where it really prejudiced the jury, because I think that to not be able to call them victims was a problem. But I still stand by it. While I don't agree with the actions,
You sound like Joe Biden right now. You sound
Thank
exactly
you.
like Joe Biden, and that's not a good thing.
why I'm being very careful.
No, you've been an old white guy. This
Okay.
This is
Okay.
exactly what the problem is. And I'm
Okay.
not saying that I'm not saying that. I'm saying that to.
But it's my opinion.
I'm saying that in context of the opinions of many people and the stereotypes that come with an old white guy feeling
Yeah.
the way that. Like
Yeah.
that's a whole conglomeration, right? That's a demographic of
But
people.
all I'm saying is, I thought Rittenhouse. I thought he was a good witness. I thought he was a good witness.
Based off what?
Based off the answers and based off proving to the jury that he felt that his life
He
was
didn't.
in danger.
He didn't prove it to
Well,
the
I
jury.
think
The
he-
judge did. The
Well,
judge told the
and that-
jury.
And I think that
and
added.
all that's listen. All this stuff is political. This is. I feel
It
sorry.
is.
I feel sorry for people who work right now in a profession that has a boss, a supervisor, a director, CEO that agrees with these people right now.
Yeah. It's
To work under these pretenses.
I will also say that what this case is showing is, again, the divide. It is showing that they are going to use Kyle Rittenhouse as sort of the cause celebre for the right. It will help them with fundraising. You already heard what the congressman from Florida said. Hire him as an intern. This will help with fundraising. Trump, the first thing that Trump did was congratulate, so it helps them. On the other hand, the left is talking about, the gun control. I just don't know where this goes, but I do know.
So exactly. So this is what, although it is political, it's a political fodder. For those far right people who want to use it for political fodder. For the traditional liberal other people to chime in as a way to say, you know what, you're kind of right on this one.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean by we're always in the crosshairs. Yeah. Right? So these are not even black victims.
Right, no, absolutely not.
And we're still showing how the judicial system is prejudiced.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right? And can be manipulated and controlled depending on who the judge is and all those things. So all this boils down to voting and who you're voting in and the consequences of having certain people and all.
Absolutely.
Right? So we move on to the Ahmaud
Let's talk about Arbery. Yeah, let's talk about Arbery.
Move on to the Ahmaud Arbery trial.
Which to me is more cut and dry, in my opinion. I mean, if you've watched, and I have watched and listened more to the prosecution and the defense.
So would the difference in the trials be the prosecution and the judge?
Well, the judge definitely seems to be less, if I'm watching this, what concerns me right now is the comments from the defense. A lot of the dog whistles that have been coming out with the black pastors. Just yesterday, if you heard the testimony, and the defense attorney described Arbery black in shorts and baggy shorts in nasty sandals
so you're framing
and
that
long
old
dirty
school,
toenails.
You're framing that old school blacks are monkeys,
exactly.
They're thugs, all this stuff. So you're framing it around.
They're framing that to those 11 white jurors.
Well, they wouldn't do it if it didn't work.
They want those 11 white jurors to have a certain image.
They couldn't use it if it didn't work.
Oh yeah, no, it's powerful. So listen, that's what defense attorneys do.
I have another question for you.
Yeah, it's despicable, but that's what they have to do. They want to get their guys off.
What would be worse, having the judge from the Rittenhouse trial in the Ahmaud Arbery trial, or vice versa?
Well, to me, it's a good question. I think that having the judge in the Arbery case would be worse to me. To me, because he already has shown his propensity to have racist overtones and allow certain things that I don't think he's not being very impartial. I think this judge, from what I've seen, has been very impartial. But more importantly, the defense attorneys, the one guy for I can't remember the defendant's name. The guy with the video camera. He's the one that has made a lot of these crazy comments with the black pastors, the Colonel Sanders.
So he could really be hurting his client because yesterday.
Well, he's got 11 white jurors, and I think that's where I don't think he is hurting his client. I don't think that hurts his client.
So that's my response to you saying this seems like a slam dunk.
I do think it's a slam dunk.
A slam dunk case.
Well, I'll tell you why it's a slam
dunk.
dunk.
Why do you think it's a slam dunk case when you have 11 white? Why bring up 11 white jurors?
Let me tell you why I think it's a slam dunk case. If you listen to the son who killed Arbery, this kid it was not self-defense. The prosecutor tore so many holes into he couldn't answer questions. There was no threat. Arbery was of no threat.
I have one.
And if you listen, just kept asking question after question, he was unable to answer the question.
Guess what? I have one.
It's going to be very difficult for that jury. I don't care how white they are.
I got two words.
Yeah, go on.
I'm going to say to you that makes me not trust this jury or this judge or this case. Trayvon
white
Martin.
People.
Trayvon Martin.
Okay, I get you.
The difference is what? What is the difference between this case and that case?
Please tell me.
I don't know. George
Well, no,
Zimmerman,
I
George
would
Zimmerman
say-
said I had a right to defend myself against somebody that I thought was
Yeah.
a criminal.
I
Because
think,
I've had prior law enforcement
Yeah.
experience or whatever, and I'm just trying to protect the neighborhood, and this guy, he hit me, so I had to shoot him.
Yeah,
And
well,
the same thing.
the citizens arrest thing, I think, is the difference.
The
They've
same
really
thing
done a
George
good
Zimmerman
job. The
said.
prosecution,
George Zimmerman said the exact same thing.
prosecution has done a very good job of defining citizens
But George
arrests.
Zimmerman used the same, and Georgia has the same laws that Florida
I
has.
think part of it is history too. I think what this country has seen since Trayvon Martin, and granted, they have not been all these. Listen, this case to me, when I listen to the prosecution tear holes in this defense, when I see the video, this was an innocent man jogging. And even if he was, listen, how many times do I go into abandoned properties? I do it all the time.
I don't.
I look at houses. When I see new homes being built, I'm always on the property. I was just in one 2 weeks ago. I love doing that.
I don't.
Well, you're a black guy, and I think you probably have more
Well,
concerns.
Ahmaud Arbery is black, but the difference is he was brought up with what I have been brought up with.
Yeah.
To know the best caution is precaution
Got
is the
it.
best caution.
Got it.
Now, he's on trial now
Yeah.
because he didn't heed that precaution,
Yeah,
right?
right,
So
right.
again, Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, Breonna Taylor. I mean, outrageous. I mean, the whole knock and it was preventable.
We live in a country where
We do.
it's always going to be that, right?
Yeah,
And then you
yeah.
fast forward to this Ben over the weekend. The rumor is, some of the stories are, he had been in an altercation and he was so threatened that he just kind of lost it for a second, and he was just trying to get away, and
This is Arbery.
he zoomed through this parade and he mowed down all
Oh,
these
the guy.
people.
Yeah.
So he had temporary insanity. Could that be a defense for him?
Of course, it can always be defense. It's very hard to prove temporary
Do
insanity.
you
First
think
of all,
that he will get any type of justification from any side, black, white, green, yellow, Republican,
he's going
Democrat?
away for life. He'll
For
never
life,
see
right?
the light of day.
So, again,
Because he the history, and also the history of him trying to run over his ex-wife. So, I mean, come on, this guy has a lot of felony convictions. He was running away from another altercation. No, this guy will never see the light of day.
okay. So
What's the question?
So,
This to me is not even a.
what I'm saying is,
Yeah, help me.
It depends
Bring it
on-
home, my friend.
Crime is different depending on what the criminal looks like or what the criminal's background is, right?
Agreed.
So there is plenty. He could have. With
So
white
if this was a white guy,
with white
it's
privilege, he
different-
may not even have this background. It's such an extensive criminal background.
Okay.
Is my point.
But forget the criminal background. Okay, just for a minute. We talked about it. The guy ran over killed 5 people and injured 40 people.
When has that made a difference?
White people have been convicted for those kind of crimes many times.
And many of them haven't.
Okay, well, I think that we can go back and forth.
It's not my argument about white and black. Though.
Yeah.
That's not my argument. My
Yeah.
argument is the system.
Yeah,
The system
I
can
agree.
be manipulated
I agree.
depending on the history, because of the
I agree.
the tradition of
I agree.
these United States. Is my point.
I agree.
So
I agree.
and I try to explain to people how you have to maintain a balance.
Yeah.
And knowing that, and how you may feel about how all of it works, right?
Yeah.
Because you'll drive yourself crazy.
Yeah. So
You won't ever have kids.
So you asked me the question, initially. I do believe that what will happen with the Arbery case is father-son, 25 years to life. Videographer will get some kind of a plea bargain, maybe get 10 years. He's not going to serve as much time. He did provide the evidence. Without that video, first of all, the guy's a piece of garbage,
Still trying to figure out.
but it's still a slam
Still
dunk.
trying to
telling
figure
you.
out why nobody is bringing up the fact that nobody called the police.
Oh, no, absolutely. They called 911. The father didn't even have his phone with him.
But
And
I
if
mean,
they
his
were
son,
so
his
concerned.
son said he gave him his phone to
Yeah.
call 911. He
Yeah.
still didn't do
Yeah,
it.
no one called 911.
So why didn't the guy in the black truck call 911?
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, listen, again, to me, that's why I keep saying slam dunk. This guy there was no history of any
Why didn't
theft.
Kyle Rittenhouse call 911?
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's
Did he ever call 911?
no. Well, the other issue I have with Kyle Rittenhouse, which I didn't point out, is the fact that you had police officers handing him water. There was no one running
Prior to this, he was walking right along with him.
So if you think about it, turn turn the pages here. If it was a black man as Kyle Rittenhouse, would the outcome have been different? And absolutely it would have. In my opinion.
So I'm going to sum up it. I agree.
Yeah. And then we want to get to one more topic before we close this out.
So I'll close this.
A Q&A with Kev and Jay you're listening to, folks, here at Kava at Cross Creek Mall in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So don't forget that. If you're ever hungry, you want something to eat, go to Kava and talk to Nikki over here. But go on.
So I'll wrap that segment up with this point right here.
Yeah.
There's a similarity. There's a lot of symmetry between Kyle Rittenhouse, Dylan Roof, George Zimmerman, and all those people. Because what I'm most concerned with is that this older generation who are threatened by Obama, and who are nearly almost. Can you believe it's almost been 20 years since Obama was elected?
No.
2008. This is 2021.
Yeah, right. Well, 15. Yeah.
So when you think about that, that's a long time.
I had to think back there for a minute.
You think about all of the things that have happened since then.
Oh yeah.
And you go back to the 1940s and 50s and 60s, how they were using young white kids, influencing them to go out and do these crimes, and then having people in place to protect them once they do the crime.
Yeah.
You're seeing more. You're probably going to see more.
Yeah.
And the best example of that is Florida. Margaret, what's the name of that school down there?
Oh, the with the shooting.
With the shooting at the high school.
Did you? Yeah.
Right.
They just settled. They just settled the case.
So they settled with money.
Yeah,
but
money.
You look at all of the things that had
Margaret
to go.
Stoneman.
We never saw the trial. We never saw the person on trial. It was never on TV.
Right.
None of that stuff. Right.
Right.
So when you look at it like that, what we have right now is people who are protecting people who go out and do this because they believe the premise behind why they're doing it.
Yeah.
They believe that they should be able to go out and kill black people or people that they feel are as a threat to them.
Yeah.
No matter what color they are, specifically if they're on the side of, in that case, with Rittenhouse, the Black Lives Matter movement. We know that people were not liking that. They hated the protests for business reasons and for other reasons, right? They were screaming defund the police.
Yeah.
So now I have somebody that can go out here and perpetuate the actions of a police officer that they can't do. Same thing with the insurrection.
Right.
Right? You had all these people that were influenced to go in and do the damage of the people who could not do it physically themselves, but they protected them at every single turn.
And look at every single one of those influencers like Bannon. Not one of them is going to end up, in my opinion, going to jail, prison.
So if you
no fines, it's a joke.
So there should be a really serious addressing coming towards our obvious. Marco is still in college.
Yeah.
22 years old.
22 years old. 22
He's
years young.
So yeah, you're on the cusp. So I'm gonna speak directly to you. You're on the cusp of and trying to find out that middle ground for you, yourself, then your generation. And most likely as you get older, you'll be dealing with more folks like Jay and I when it comes to your business or occupation and that kind of stuff.
With more folks like me.
So when you go in to do interviews, now we've put something in your head that you may have to consider depending on the person sitting across from you when it's time for you to do these interviews, and not knowing what kind of questions they will ask you. I wouldn't doubt that people are probably asking questions, are you a liberal, are you a Republican, are you conservative, what do you think about what's going on these days? And determine that based off whether they hire you or not. So determining on whether they hire you or not based off your political affiliation and your sympathy for Black Lives Matter or trans or LGBTQ. Yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's why you always got to be careful with that social media.
Exactly. But
don't label.
But it's not to get your character, it's to get whether or not you feel a certain type of way about certain things that are going on in the moment based off of them and their historical way of thinking. So moving on from that.
Yeah, I want to talk about sort of to bring our thing to a close today.
Because I brought it up.
Q&A with Kev and Jay.
Yeah, I tried to bring it up and allude to you talking about Joe Biden because we hadn't heard Kamala Harris say very much in the last several months.
When we have heard Kamala Harris, there have been some, she continues to say the wrong thing, laugh at the wrong time. Well, based off the facts. I mean, when you ask her a question, so let's just go to let's go to the border, for instance, okay? For months, she is sort of not the border czar, but the president wanted her to play a larger role regarding the border and immigration, right? Well, she was nowhere to be seen at the border, and it took months for her to finally get to the border. And when she was questioned on, I think it was ABC or NBC News, about where have you been, her response was, well, you know, I have to go to Europe or something like that. Listen, this could have been nipped in the bud a long time ago. She needs to just get to the border. Instead, it's a lot of excuses.
So let me first
She
say,
doesn't answer questions.
let me first say,
And she's been a disappointment.
let me say
She's
first
been a big
off, she wasn't my
disappointment.
choice for
her.
president or vice or
I liked
VP.
her.
But
I liked her.
But in all fairness, Jay,
Yeah,
Joe Biden is from the East Coast,
yeah.
who
She's
does not
West
have
Coast.
does not have no border issues. The White House is on the East Coast, so it's always a struggle for them to try to figure out what to do about the border. Fact is,
Got it.
all of the things that's happening at the border should have been solved in the 70s and 80s, technically
We
speaking.
get that.
But
My
let
only
me finish
issue
my
is-
statement.
okay,
Let me finish
I
what
will.
I'm saying. She's from California.
Yeah,
So when you go to California, you can start from the very top. You can go from Washington State
right.
to Oregon to California to New Mexico to
Right.
Arizona, all the way over to
Yeah.
Texas. That is a whole territory, is stolen land.
Yeah,
All the major cities, or most all of the major cities and towns of California end in A,
right.
which lets you know there's a lineage there with the South American, Indian,
Absolutely.
Hispanic,
Right.
culture, right? And heritage. So you know that land was stolen. And we also know that Kamala Harris knows way more about that than
Right.
what they do. And we know, and we can also give her credit to say, if she got in the White House and they
Right.
said, we need you to go down there and say this, do this, say
Yeah.
this, and do this.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Can we give her the benefit of the doubt to say that she was like, you know what, I just don't agree with your policies. And it's hard for her to do that from a vice
It's
presidential
less about
thing.
it's less about policies and it's more about
Optics.
being. It's
Optics. So
well,
you
it's
gotta
not only
pretend.
the optics. It's the inability for her to answer questions. She
you
has
think-
been in many interviews, Kevin.
You think it's
she
the inability
doesn't
for her?
answer.
Do you
I gotta
think it's
tell
the-
you, she waffles. She waffles a lot. Listen, she's a smart woman,
I'm just-
but she's been a huge
I-
disappointment. Her popularity is
she's not a
much lower than Biden.
She's not
Biden's
a
popularity is-
disappointment.
she's been a big disappointment
How
to
can
me.
she be disappointment when Joe Biden is a
I'm disappointed with Biden.
President Biden. Biden is the president right now.
Absolutely.
But was a vice president upon Obama for 8 years.
Yes, correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And could not have won this election
Without
Had it-
Obama.
without Obama and without
Agreed.
quote unquote black women.
Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely.
So
he needed
if-
both
so
of them.
if I'm Kamala Harris,
Yeah.
I'm looking at you as a president, like,
Yeah.
and so I think that plays into her inability, as you would say,
Yeah.
to answer questions. I
Yeah.
think there's a big struggle there with,
Yeah.
this man wasn't even competition for me when I was running for president.
Right. Right.
I
right.
come under him, I do what gets you elected,
Yeah.
but I really don't agree. All throughout the campaign, she didn't agree with him,
No, she did. She
right?
did.
So for her to go, I'm saying to myself,
You can disagree behind the scenes, but now that he's president,
it gets
you
harder
gotta-
to pretend
I got it.
when you're
Well, she's not
passionate
doing a
about
good
it,
job.
and that's her lifelong thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think
And
overall.
I think she deserves the same pass that we've given to every damn body else.
Yeah. Well, I'm not willing to give Biden a pass, and I'm not willing to give
But you-
either of them
but
a
you
pass.
But
Well,
you are.
No.
Now, so let's talk about something
Yeah,
that
because
do
we
agree on.
almost have to. We're almost done
Yeah,
with
let's
Q&A
talk-
with
let's-
Kev and
let's
Jay
talk about something
this
that we do
week.
agree on, right?
Yeah.
Let's
I
take
can't
this-
believe we agree. No, we agree on a lot actually.
In the last 6 months,
Yeah.
we've had the American Recovery Plan.
Yep.
We're not even going to talk about the COVID relief funds and all that stuff.
Yep.
We've had the
Infrastructure
bill
Yep. 1.7.
and the Build Back Better plan.
Build Back Better plan is passed by Congress, but not by Senate. It will move forward, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But we're not going to have the employee. What is it? The pay.
Minimum wage.
What?
Minimum
No,
wage?
not the minimum wage. When you're out sick.
The paid leave.
The paid leave, which
Okay.
is huge. But Manchin
that
doesn't want
that can be brought back.
Yeah.
So the
Big
point
things.
the point that I'm making is, should we be spending a lot of time critiquing, or should we be preparing?
Yeah.
Because we live, unfortunately, most of us live in cities that
Yeah.
have not been prepared for have this huge influx of
Of
dollars
cash, right.
coming
Right,
in, right?
right,
So it's
right,
like
true.
taking a person that's never had anything and giving them $1 million and saying,
Oh, yeah.
here's how you solve all your problems,
Right,
and
right.
they can balance the checkbook.
Right, right.
We're going to see a lot of corruption going forward.
Oh,
We're going to see
A
a lot
lot.
of, and so
A lot
I
of
think we need
mismanagement.
a lot of mismanagement. And
Yeah.
what does this do for raising teacher pay, specifically in a lot of this stuff? And
Yeah.
is it coincidental that even our state, we finally passed the budget at the same time as the infrastructure bill?
Yeah, right.
So,
And there is something in there for teachers,
Yeah.
which is good. You know,
Right.
unfortunately, not
Right.
enough. 2.5%
Right.
a year. That's 5% over 2 years, and then another bonus. But again, it's baby steps.
so I say that's because I think there's probably about 70 to 75% of towns, cities, and counties across this country that are not prepared.
Oh yeah, and it's a really good point.
That are
It's a
not
good
prepared.
point.
And I think I hope that those of us who do pay attention all the time,
Yep.
and people like yourself who know what a budget looks like and how to budget.
Yes.
I hope that we talk more to people like yourself
Good point.
and have more direct meetings with city council members and their staff,
Right.
and the city staff, not just here in Fayetteville,
Yeah.
but across the board. I have a deep concern that a lot of things that have been done in the past will repeat itself,
Yeah.
i.e., I'll use this as an example. Douglasburg High School, or that Douglasburg area here in
Yeah.
Fayetteville, is one of the renowned lowest performing areas
Right,
for
right,
years,
right,
for years
right.
and years and years. Well, this is a grand opportunity to go in and do an urban renewal plan for the whole entire area, especially since Cape Fear Valley seems to ignore the area.
Right.
And Cape Fear Valley is one of our bigger employers
Right.
here. So our biggest employers here are Cape Fear Valley and Cumberland County Schools.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's going to be very hard for them to have an excusatory explanation for why you don't go into these areas and
Right.
build them back there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So how confident are you in these things happening?
Well, I mean, if you look at history, not as confident as I would like to be. I think there really needs to be some type of accountability plan in place, and I think it needs to be done, whether it's by state, regionally, where you have people actually looking at this data, looking to see how many dollars have been expended, where the dollars are going, and some type of regular updates to the communities. Because if we don't see it, a lot of times we're very quick to complain, but we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. If we had someone like a czar in each region to sort of talk about where these dollars are going and how it will impact certain areas, if we can put that piece in place, I would have confidence. So that's a big piece.
I would even go so far as to say one of the reasons why we don't have these things in place is
Yeah.
because of systemic isms, right? So you can say classism, you can say economics, you can say racism, obviously.
Yeah.
You can say judicial system, so forth and so on. So I always said that COVID has a lot of opportunity mixed in with it.
Yeah.
It is my contention that this is a grand opportunity amongst all
Agreed.
of this stuff. The way that I know God is you have to accept the issues that you've had in order to ask Him for the blessing. So you got to kind of admit what your fallacies and your fallacies are to be able to receive what you are asking Him for in a sense of a blessing.
I agree.
I hope that we do that.
Yeah.
I hope you start feeling much better, my friend.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have to say thanks to our great producer Marco, who has been just on top of things.
Thanks, Marco.
Thank you, Marco, and to Kava here at Cross Creek Mall in
And we'll do this
Fayetteville,
from time to time.
North
We'll move
Carolina.
around. We'll move around with the.
This has been
with the
great,
podcast.
and folks have been listening to Q&A with Kev and Jay. Oftentimes we're honest conversations with Kev and Jay. Weekly honest conversations with Kev and
9
Jay.
a.m.
9 a.m. on WIDU 99.7 FM. It has been great seeing you. Until next time, Kev.
Hope you get to spend some time with your family this week.
Yes. Happy
And,
Thanksgiving.
I have some friends that are going through some challenges with some losses in their family, so I'm wishing them well.
Yes.
Today is the 50th birthday of a first cousin and the probably 40-something odd birthday of another first cousin. So this is a great day, and at times, it
Great
can
day.
be a sad day. So it's important for us to have that personal balance. Remember, thank a teacher,
Thank you, teacher.
and let's do something better for these bus drivers out here in public schools in general. So until next time, I'm
Until next
Kev.
time.
He's Jay. We've done
Q&A.
some Q&A, and we're out of here.
Kev and Jay. See ya.
Peace.